Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today I am excited to share with you a custom integration I have been working on between ServiceNow and Slack. This integration has been an amazing learning experience, and I can't wait to walk you through the process. I will be covering the entire flow step by step, from setting up the Slack app to configuring ServiceNow for automated notifications and approvals. This integration has been extremely helpful in automating change request approvals, and I have learned a lot in the process, especially about integration up and working with the scripted APIs. I will be diving into this concept a bit more as we move along. Throughout the video, I will show you how exactly I built it. So if you want to follow along or try it yourself, you will know exactly what steps to take. So let's check out our process flow. The integration starts when a change request is triggered in ServiceNow and moves to as a state. From there, we automate the approval process with Slack. Here is what happens next. A Slack message is sent when a change request is created, and approvers can approve or decline directly in Slack with the interactive buttons. The change request status is automatically updated in ServiceNow. A response is posted back to Slack confirming the approval or rejection. This eliminates delays and speeds up the approval process. Now, let's dive into how this works. Before we jump into the implementation, let's quickly walk through the high level steps we will be following. So the first step is creation of Slack app. The second is configuration or the configuring the service now to send a Slack messages. The third is capturing the approvals in Slack and updating the service now. And fourth is automating the process with the Flow Designer and integration up. Finally, the testing the integration. So let's get started with our first step. So first, we need to create a custom Slack app that will allow us to send and receive messages. As you can see, I have already created a ServiceNow app for my testing purposes, but I'm going to create a new one from the scratch. So please go ahead and go to the Slack API website, and this is the URL, and I will paste it in the description box below. Let's create an app from the scratch, and let's give the name um, as okay. My caps lock is on. Okay, ServiceNow 2, and I am going to select the workspace here. I am going to select the ServiceNow integration workspace. I will just quickly change this ServiceNow to Slack integration. And let's go ahead and create the app. So right now you can see the basic information about your app. So if you are creating OAuth authentication, then these informations are important, which are client ID, the client secret. So I'm not going to use the OAuth today. I'm going to use the bot token instead. I did try with the OAuth. Unfortunately, it is not working. Whenever I try to retrieve the OAuth, it gives me an error stating that no scope specified. Even though I have specified the scopes, I was still getting that message. So I did find out a workaround for that, but I don't want to use that. I'm going to use the bot um, token. So after this, let's quickly come back to manage distribution here. And here, There is something. So I'm going to just select this. I'm going to check this. I have reviewed and removed any art coded informations. So you can just check that one, and you can, or you can do it at the end too. And let's go ahead and create the incoming webhooks for us. So in order to do that, we need to turn this on, and I'm going to create a new webhook. So I'm going to select the channel as all ServiceNow integration, and I'm going to click on allow. And we will be using this in our post message, and I will show you how to do it. So after this, let's come back here and let's get to the OAuth permissions, and go ahead and copy this bot user OAuth token, and save it on your notepad for the future use. And we are going to create a new redirect URL, and I'm going to tell you why we will be doing it when I create the scripted API. So for now, our job is done here. So we have got our OAuth token. So we have completed our first step. So, and I forgot to talk about the scopes. When I came into this page or to the OAuth and permissions one, yes, we need to set the scopes. By default, we already have one scope added, which is called incoming webhook, and we are going to add a few more scopes. So those are going to be channels, read. So you can add it as per your requirement, and you can find all this information on the API documentation. So for my purpose, I have added these scopes, and so chat, write, public, and groups, read. Okay, and I am right. And many of these may not be required, but to be on a safer side, I have added everything here. So our bot token scope is done, and we need to add the user token scope. I've already added, no, I don't think so. I've added admin. So I'm going to add the admin, and I'm going to add one more here, channel, uh, read. What is that? Channel read, and chat write, and I am right. And that's it. So we have added the scope, and you would get this message if you're adding it after saving this app. So we will have to reinstall the app again. So we can just go ahead and quickly reinstall it. And this will show you what all the Slack app is going to do for us. So we are going to give access to this channel and click on allow. So finally, we can say that the part one or the step one is completed. And in case if you want to know more about the Slack API, please visit the Slack API documentation page. You will find a lot of information there, and they would have given an example to how an OAuth permission should look like, and interactivity and shortcuts looks like, and how the incoming webhooks are used. Now, let's come back to our service now to create the second step. If you don't know, the second step is, which is configure ServiceNow to send Slack messages, wherein we will be creating a REST message in ServiceNow to send a notification to Slack. I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm creating the REST message and how I'm going to leverage this REST message in my flow. So let's come here our ServiceNow, and let's type REST message. For my testing purposes, I have already created a REST message, which is this one. And I'm going to create a one for this video. So let's give the name as Slack send message, and here I am going to select this as a basic auth, and because I'm going to use the bot, and let's get the endpoint, and this is the endpoint for posting the messages on the Slack. And I got this information from the API documentation, which I will be posting it along with the documentation and also in the description box below. So ServiceNow has created a default get message. Let's go ahead and create a post message. So let's name this as Slack send message and the HTTP method as post, and it is going to be the same endpoint, the one I used it previously. And here I am going to leave this as it is, and I'm going to click on save, and let's come back to this tab, the HTTP request header. And I'm going to create few headers here. So the first one is going to be the authorization header and our bearer token, whatever we used it. So sorry, whatever we got it from the Slack. I'm going to quickly copy it from my notepad and I'm going to paste it here. So you have to add the value as a bearer and plus your bot token. And then I'm going to create a second header here as a content type as application JSON. Okay. Okay, here we go. We did that. And I'm going to quickly copy the content type which I already have it. So this is the content type or the body. So this again, I have copied it from the API documentation. As I said earlier, we will be creating the two button called approve and decline. And we are going to pass the our change request, and we are going to give the fallback as approve or reject. And the text is going to be as a new change request needs approval. Let me go ahead and quickly save it. And I have passed the dynamic variables here because I will be using this REST message in our flow. So let's go ahead and click on auto generate variables, which ServiceNow is going to do it for us. Okay, it's done, and I'm going to give the test value here. I'm going to give some random change request number because this is for the testing. And the change request ID is going to be, let me give my name. Um, this is Selva Arun. And the change request ID, I'm going to pass the same number, and you will know why I'm using the number instead of the SysID. Yes, you can use the SysID, but here I have used the number instead. And let's go ahead and quickly test it out. So you can see that our integration worked. So we have got the status as 200. So let's quickly go to our Slack API or the Slack to check if this message is actually posted. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to select Slack, and here we go. Welcome back. So I think I had used this one. So let's open it. Okay, so here we go. We have got the message here stating a new change request needs approval, and this is the number which the whatever the change request we passed and the text. So we have got a two button here, the approve and the decline. So finally, our second step is done, and let's go ahead with the third steps, which is capturing the approvals in Slack and updating the service. Now, here we will be creating an inbound webhook and a scripted API in ServiceNow to capture the Slack responses and update the change request status. So, as I mentioned previously, we need to give the redirect URLs to. So I'm going to do it here. So this comes into picture if you're using the OAuth authentication. So for now, I'm going to leave it as it is. So in order to create a scripted API for the interactivity messages, so I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to leave it as it is. So we need the request URL. So for that, let's quickly go to our instance and let's open, I'm sorry, let's go ahead and create a scripted API. So it's going to be under the scripted, I think it is scripted REST APIs. Yes, and for our demo purposes, yes, you guessed it, I have already created one. So I am going to create a one for this demo. Okay, so let me quickly go ahead and copy this URL. Yep, I'll tell you guys what I'm doing in a moment. So, okay, let's go ahead and name it. Our name our scripted API, and let's give the API, and the API ID will be automatically generated for us. So all these documents or all this information is available in the ServiceNow documentation, which I will be leaving in the description box below. So let's go ahead and quickly give a name as Slack change approval 2 because I've already created one for my testing. So I don't want any conflict happening. Okay, so let's go ahead and quickly save this. And once we save this, I'm going to override this default supported request formats and also the response format here. The reason why I'm doing is our Slack um, is going to send the body in this format, which is form URL encoded format. So by default, the ServiceNow REST API supports the JSON and the XML. So we are going to override that default format with the URL encoded one, and the security is fine, and we are going to leave the documentation, and I'm just going to quickly save this. So please make a note of this basic API part, which we will be using it on our Slack interactive page. So once this is done, let's go ahead and create a new resources, and let's name this as process approval underscore 2, and I'm going to select the post method, and the relative path is going to be the same thing, which is process underscore approval underscore 2. I already have the script ready with me, and I will be pasting the script as well in the description box. So in order to parse the data from the Slack, we will be using this particular variable where we will be using this request dot query params dot payload. So especially for this format or for this query parameters, I'm sorry, for passing the payload. So this is a very simple script. It looks like a kind of a heavy script, but let me explain you quickly what the script is going to do. So it is going to quickly parse the incoming data from the Slack, and then it is going to get our callback ID and the value from the Slack, like if the approver as approved or declined the request. So I will show you the example or a sample payload as well while testing it out, and you can see it how this works. And also, yeah, you will get the clear idea what I'm talking about. And once we get the values, we are going to glide record to the sys approval approver table, and then we will query with the change request number, whatever we will be getting it from the Slack. The one I used it in the REST message where I passed the callback ID, and we will query the table using that change request number, and we will go ahead and update the state to approved or rejected based on the user's response. Once this is done, we are going to pass the response back to the Slack stating that your the change request has been updated as per your response. Where is it? I think this one. So we will be passing this information as a response, like the change request number has been approved or declined as per your response. So I have used the what is that? The REST message, whatever we created previously here, and we will be passing the response back to it. So this script, I had used it previously for my testing purposes. So you can see that the name of the REST messages are different. So after this, let's go ahead and save this. And also you can see that it has taken the parent choices um, as the um, URL encoded. And here we have to follow one more step. Since this is going to be a um, public API, we do not want to set any authentication. So in case if you set this to true, the whatever the post method or the post API, which the Slack will be hitting it, it will not come through to ServiceNow. So we need to uncheck it, and we need to quickly save this record. So for the testing purposes, I will be using my previously created Slack a scripted API. I don't want to, I don't want to change the REST message at the moment.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you guys, there is a way you can test the payload, the incoming payload from the Slack too. So for that, I will be using the request bin here. So this is our URL. So I am going to copy this URL, and let's come to the API applications, the one I have created it. Let's come to the interactivity and shortcuts. So I'm going to change this, and I'm going to click on save changes. Let's go back to our channel, and let's go ahead and approve it. So yeah, you can see that the Slack actually hit that URL, whatever we had updated in the request bin. So here we are. So we can see that there was a post response. So I'm going to click on this. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we can see that we have received a payload. So this is how the payload looks like. And you can see that we have got the callback number and the text and everything, and the button value. We have received everything, and you can see that the value of the button is approved. So let's go back to our Slack API here. I'm going to remove this request URL because I am going to select the one which we have already created. So, which is this one, and I'm going to quickly paste it, and we need the HTTPS, so our instance name. So let's copy it here, and let's come here and paste it. So officially, our third step is completed. So let's go back to our steps quickly. So we are at the fourth step right now. We need to automate the process with the Flow Designer and the Integration Hub. So for this automation, I'm going to use the Float Designer and the Integration Hub. I have already installed the plugins related to the Integration Hub, and I'm going to paste the link in the description box below in case if you want to use it or upgrade it on your instance. So it's called the Integration Hub plugins. I will put all the information in the description box. So let's quickly go to the Flow Designer. And I have created one flow already. So, but for this quick let's go
Demo.
ahead and create a new action for triggering the REST message. So let's go ahead and give this name as anything. For now, I am just giving this as a Slack post, and I'm just going to click on build action and click on this plus icon and type REST and select the REST. And please select the connection as a defined connection in line. I have already created the um, connection here, and the connection alias, the one I had created is the Slack token. You can, let's quickly open this record to see how this record looks like. So you will have to create a record under this sys underscore alias table. In order to do that, first you need to click on this a basic auth credential table. First, you need to come here and you need to create a record here. And this password is nothing but your bot token. So you can also create it directly from the REST step two. If you come here, there is an option called create a new record. If you click on this, you will get this interceptor. You go ahead and click on this basic auth credentials and give all the information and click on submit. So you can select the credential alias to here. So I'm going to cancel this out as I have already created it. And if you want to know more about this credential alias, please visit the ServiceNow documentation. So the base URL is going to be our incoming webhook URL, the one we got it from the API the Slack API. And here I'm going to make use of the REST message. So if you have followed along the video, I would have mentioned in the beginning that I will be leveraging the REST message, which I had created earlier here. So this is where I'm going to use that. And I'm going to select the REST message as I'm going to, whatever we created it, we are going to select here and select the function as send message and just click on import REST message. ServiceNow will take care of the rest. It will go ahead and copy the entire authorization and the content type, even the header. And also, as you can see, it has also created the variables for us. So let's go ahead and click on save this. And if you want to check the variables, you can click on the input and it has already created one for us. And in order to use this on your flow, you need to publish it. You need to publish it. That's when this will be available for the flow. So I have already created the flow um, quickly. Um, for the testing purposes. So here I have given the trigger as whenever the change request is updated, where the state is assess, and I have just given an condition, one more condition, like wherein the assignment group is ITSM app dev, and I have selected the action, the whatever we selected it, which is the Slack post API. And you might be thinking why the action name is different here. Yes, this flow I had created it previously for my testing, so I'm going to make use of the same thing. I didn't want it to create one more, so this also contains the same information, just like the one which I had created. So if you don't know how to add this one, you have to come here to the actions. Just click on action. Um, sorry. Yeah, you have to click on action and you need to search this Slack post API. And then, okay, something went wrong. Let me just refresh it because I clicked on it. And here we are going to pass this information here, the change record request ID and change request description from the data pill here. So I have simply dragged and dropped the change request number. If you could see, if I over it over this change request ID, you can see the data pill, which is the change request record, the number, and here also I've used the same thing. And for the description, I have used the short description. And once this is done, just click on done and click on save, and do not forget to activate this flow. So our final sorry, the fourth step is completed, and our let's get to our final step, which is the testing. So in order to test that, we need to create a change request. So let's come to the change request table. So I believe you know the shortcut. So I used change underscore request dot do, which brings you to the new form. And I am going to give something like this, the short description as ServiceNow is down, or this is ServiceNow testing via Slack integration. And if you remember, I had used a condition in the flow where the assignment group should be ITSM app dev in order to trigger the flow. So I'm going to quickly save this record, and let's come here to the schedule tab. I am going to select a random, sorry, random dates, and I'm going to click on save, and I'm going to click on request approval. So you can see that the change request is actually in the assist state, which means our flow should have been triggered. So let's quickly go to our ITSM channel to test it out. So yes, you can see that we have got the message here. Hey, so as a new change request needs approval, and the ServiceNow is down, and this is the ServiceNow testing via Slack integration. So till now, everything looks good. So let's quickly test our scripted API. So let's click on approve. So once we click on approve, we have got it immediately. I mean, we have got a response stating that the change request number as approved as per your response. And for some reason, I'm getting this message. I don't know what to do about it. So please ignore it. And let's go back to our change request and confirm it. So yes, indeed, you can see that the state has been changed to authorize, and our one of the approver has approved it. here in this case, like Anthony Alidis. And that's a wrap. We just built a fully automated ServiceNow to Slack integration for change request approvals. So, with this integration, we can now seamlessly send approval requests to Slack, allow approvers to take action directly from their Slack workspace. So, if you have found this video helpful, do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more ServiceNow automation content. So, got questions or want to see more integrations? Drop a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts and help you out. So, thanks for watching the Now Divas, and I will see you in the next video. Happy automating. Ta-da, bye bye.